Hey guys, this is your girl Gigi and I'm here with another video. Okay guys, so this video basically is something that I've been thinking about for a minute, and I wanted to kind of weigh in on it due to a lot of things that's going on with the political climate that we have going on. And first of all, I'm just really happy that a lot of these protests are going on. I feel like a lot of people are coming together, and it is a beautiful thing. And I feel like there's a lot of change that's going to happen, that's happening, being with like the recent flags coming down, these Confederate statues coming down. Yes, I said it. If you have a problem, oh well. So yeah, so I'm very happy about that. And African Americans just coming together, binding together, and standing for what they believe in. And that's really making me happy. So what I do want to talk about though, the topic of this video is the title is African Booty Scratcher Akata. So just me personally, first of all, just my experience as being a Nigerian American. So as far as issues with African American kids growing up, there were plenty. I would get teased about my name, my last name, my middle name. I would be called African Booty Scratcher. Whatever African Booty Scratcher is, I don't know. I guess they thought I scratched butts because I was African. I don't know, but it's called African Booty Scratcher. They made fun of my middle name. They made songs out of it, talking about because it's Uchenna, but they were like Uchi Coochie la la la, Uchi Coochie la la la. It's so silly thinking about it. So now as far as just like what African Americans feel that Africans say about them, and what Africans feel that Black Americans say about them, it's crazy. So okay, so we have I've talked with a lot of different Africans, just people that were from Africa, lived in Africa, and then came to America, and their thoughts on how they were treated by Americans. So this is kind of like what they believe. So I was just speaking with someone the other day who was talking about basically how when she came to America, Black people treated her so bad. Well, African American people treated her so bad. They made fun of her because she was from Africa. They didn't try to befriend her and stuff like that. And she just felt like white Americans treated her better than African Americans treated her. And she still has that mindset of why are you treating me so bad? We're the same thing, but you have this negative connotation about me because I'm African. And I've talked with some of my other friends who have talked about how when their parents came over here, they talked about them, made fun of their accent, said that they stank, didn't want to be friends with them, made fun of how they talked and stuff like that. And these were Black American people who did this to these African people. So a lot of these people got negative connotations, or had a negative experience with Black American people, and more so felt like, well, the white Americans were nicer to me than the Blacks. So a lot of them ended up staying away from Black people and distancing themselves from Black Americans because they felt that they were not accepted or they weren't liked. Okay, and so then there are also the things that I've heard from African people that were negative about Black American people. For instance, in Nigeria, there's this word called Akata that is used when it's used in Nigeria, but it's different when it comes over here, from my understanding. So I know I've heard a lot of Nigerian, well, I haven't heard a lot, but I've heard a few Nigerian people refer to African Americans as Akata. And there's this movie in the 90s with It was New Jack City, and we had Wesley Snipes playing in it and he was Nino Brown. So anyways, in the movie, they were doing some kind of dealings with some guys from Nigeria, and the Nigerian guy called the black man Akata. So he was like, what's that? What's that? He knew it was negative because of the situation that they were in, but he didn't know what it meant. And so the Nigerian guy told him it means a slave. So they like, I guess, about to start fighting, gotta fight, all that other stuff. So yeah. So basically that is that word. And I have heard some Nigerians saying that about Black American people, calling them Akatas. And you know, some people have said it means slave. Some people say it means wild person, uncivilized. But we just know that it's a negative thing, and it's almost like basically a racial slur, even though we're all part of the same race. So yeah. And you know, I've heard some Africans say that African Americans are lazy, that, you know, they come over here, and if they can come to school and come over here from basically nothing and go to school and make it, then why can't you, and things like that. So you know, talking about like the men don't work and the women are baby mamas, and you know, just a lot of negative stuff. And so with me, I'm just like sitting here looking like, what the F? You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, you all are both Black, African American. We're all part of the same race. Our cultures might differ, but we're all one and the same. We all have this beautiful hue of melanin, and we're what is this divide? You know, what is this divide? So I started kind of doing my research, because I'm like, something has to give. There is a reason why one set of Black people have a negative connotation of another set of Black people. It can't just be, you know, inherent. It came from somewhere. So I started doing my research and stuff like that, and started paying attention. So in America, there historically has been a very negative connotation of African people, you know, that are in Africa. You know, just going back into the 60s with Tarzan and Jane, like the barbaric, the jungle, and stuff like that. Going back to these infomercials where they're just dropping down in the most rural areas of Africa, with the kids with the big bellies, the malnourished babies, out here with all these mosquitoes, flies biting them, eating them up, walking around National Geographic, getting in the most rural areas with the women with the breast out, and the men with their things out flapping, and the loincloth, and the, you know, bow, like the bones in the nose, and the plates in the lips, and stuff like that. And those are images that are thrown into the media in America. So a lot of Black people are like, well, what is going on here? So that's what they're seeing. And you know, it was never anything of them showing like these vast areas of these beaches and these cities and these diamond mines, and you know, this beautiful culture, the music and stuff like that. Not growing up. Now we go and we investigate, the internet comes out, and we seeing this stuff, and we're taking these courses like African World Studies, and we're learning, and we are getting out of this set of negative images that we're seeing. Then yeah, then we're, you know, kind of going into, we're becoming more intelligent about Africa and what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, you don't see that. You saw those images that were negative, which created these stereotypes of Africans. So when we see the African kids over here, then it's like, ugh, they from Africa, ooh, they stink. Because we already have this negative connotation where, you know, these people are this sort of way. And also, you know, when in Africa, you know, I want to speak with some friends where they're just seeing, they come over here and they feel like, you know, some Africans might be like, oh, hip hop. They feel like, you know, everyone's hip hop. Everything's hip hop culture. People speak in a certain vernacular, ebonics, or black people are lazy, or this, that, and the other. Those are some stereotypes that they see over there with their media and stuff like that. So they come already with stereotypes and judgments from the media that they have attained over there, and African Americans have been conditioned and seen a lot of negative stuff about Africa. And so, you know, just even to the point of me having conversations with some African American kids that were educated, that were going to historically black institutions, me sitting down and talking with them and them saying that they're not African American, they're black, and they don't claim Africa. And that was like a gut punch, because I'm just like, what do you mean you don't claim Africa? You're black. They're like, well, I don't have no ties to Africa, I don't claim it, you know. But I'm like, but you're black. Okay, I'm black, but I'm not African. That's what they would say. So, you know, I understand it's a different culture and stuff like that. I understand the history of America, that the culture was the language, the cultures were stripped, and, you know, we all had to, you know, readjust to what was given or taken from us. But, you know, at the same time, and at the end of the day, you know, we live in such a new time, new age, new era, that we can try to see past a lot of these stereotypes and a lot of the ways the media has finagled and tried to brainwash us from dividing as a race and actually come together. And so, you know, I saw a really interesting video, passionate video by another YouTuber. I'll put her name down here because I can't think of it right now. But she had a really good video talking about the disparities, this, you know, the divide between African Americans and African people, specifically Nigerians and African Americans. So that was basically, you know, my thought process on this. And like I said, I do feel like it's highly you know, the media's ideas. It's also to the history of slavery in America, that one has put a wedge between African Americans and Africans, you know, just with the media just constantly throwing out negative images of Africa. Here has definitely put a divide between Africans and African Americans. And, you know, just with this climate that's going on, I think that now is a great time for these to be discussions that's going on, because yeah, we're discussing, you know, we're saying let's have those discussions with these other races about, you know, blacks and whites, and, you know, how white people can be more sensitive and understanding of the black culture and the black experience. But how about we have some of these African Americans and Africans who live in America to come together and have a discussion about the, you know, the stereotypes that we have against each other, and the you know, the differences that we have, and come together. You know, let's all bind together and come together and just kind of see like there was a reason we were separated in the first place, and become more woke and see what it is, and come together, unite. If black Americans and white Americans can come together and unite, you gotta believe African Americans and Africans can come together and unite. So I hope this video sheds some light on some things that some people may not have even known existed, some things that people may have known existed but were afraid to talk about it or afraid to have a conversation. If you guys have any questions about this, or, you know, want to hear more videos about this, let me know. If you guys feel like you need to share this and let someone hear this or anything, you know, share it, you know, like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's just have a conversation. Let's talk about it. All right, as always, this is your girl Gigi. Thanks for watching, and stay woke.